Hey team, this video is discussing a new feature called the CAR or Contract Amendment Request. And I'm going to walk you through the steps and explain what this process is. There's notes on it here for reference. Essentially, it's to be used anytime there's a need for dispositions to reach out to the acquisitions for an official change on something like price or change in closing date, etc. Process is as follows. Starts with the DM. They have a new field that they can fill out and a new next action they can click that will send it over to the RAM. That time transaction also gets informed of what's going on. The RAM then has a chance to see those. They're told that they need to reply within 48 hours. They have a field to put their response in and a next action button to submit back to the DM. Again, this informs the DM and transactions of the result. I'm going to walk you through an example of it. So it starts in dispositions. I've just pulled up an old one to use as the example right here. I'll make sure it's marked back on sold closed when we're finished. But let's say we're working this deal. We need help getting something assigned on it. So we're going to find the field that is called, scroll down, the CAR, the Contract Amendment Request Comments. What we would start with is, as the disposition manager, we'd come in here and say, test CAR submission, need price reduction, right? Or need closing date to change to XYZ, right? Whatever we need, we're going to type it in here and submit that by then clicking away, scrolling back up to our next actions, and we're going to choose the next action that says submit the contract amendment request, the CAR, to the RAM. And we just click that button, okay? Doing so is going to run a flow that it will tell us here, okay, we're sending this back to the RAM for that CAR, and please update your next action and stage accordingly, because your stage may be different over here in dispositions. It may be something that is still in due diligence. It may be something that has to go to project management. That's why we're submitting the request, right? So the computer can't know. You have to update it as the disposition side and tell yourself, okay, what do we need to do next? All right. And from there, its related acquisition has been updated. So I'm going to click through to the acquisition, pretending now that I am the RAM who was assigned on this project. Let's see if we had one. So Tony's the one that was listed on here on the file. So in this case, Tony had received this notification, contract amendment request, disposition team needs you to address, blah, blah, blah. It explains it there, and it says that the comments from disposition were, and boom, here's what I had typed over in that file. So he sees it right here. This has also moved it so that the stage and the next action information is accurate, okay? And it tells them they need to process that CAR, and it tells them that they need to get started right away to do that, just so it pops up in their menus of what they're working on, okay? So when the RAM comes to take care of this, what they do is down in their section, I'm going to show it here. We have the RAM contract amendment request comments. This is where, based on what they saw in the request, they would come and say something like the price can drop to 30, right? Given that approval, or close on December 30th, right? Whatever the response needs to be, they can come put it here. The reason we have an actual field instead of just commenting back and forth is so that in the future, this is tagged on the file in a way that is easy to reference and find, and it doesn't get lost in a string of comments, okay? So I just wanted to point that out. They would fill this out, and then they would accordingly go to their next action, and they have a button that says that the CAR is ready notify dispositions. And it's marked for the RAM, just signifying that this is a selection that the RAM does instead of the RLMs. Okay, they make that selection. Um, Doing so is going to run a flow. Here we go. It says, okay, Tony, your response is being passed back. And then again, please update your stage and next action as needed, because there may be things it's like, I need to follow up on this in a week and make sure. Or it may be something as, okay, none, I don't need to do anything because this is just sitting under contract, right? Acquisitions can take care of what they need to on that. Then going back into dispositions, I'm just going to refresh the page here because we've had a couple changes occur. On the disposition file, it comments. I noticed this one I don't have a rep assigned. If I had, their name would have been right here. It comments to them saying, hey, the RAM has responded to your request. Tells them this one needs attention, resolve what that request was. They can come down, and what happens is their field right here says, okay, return from Tony. We can drop it to 30 and close on December 30th. We see that that option has been entered. Last thing I need to show you. So now dispositions would continue working with it as they need. I'm just going to click into the related transaction here. And in the related transaction, we're going to be able to see. Let's see if these comments. Refresh this page and see. That should be tagging to the transaction as well. Hey, just so you know, this happened. Let me check if this same transaction is attached to the acquisition file. Oh, there we go. This one has 2 transactions attached to it for some reason. I just picked a random old one to work on. So I'll verify this in the flows, but it had just been picked as a random old one. Let's see if that worked. All right, I'm not seeing that piece. It worked on our last test. I'll confirm that again, but just be aware, whatever transaction is related to it will have comments saying, hey, just so you know, the DM requested a contract amendment, and then when it's completed, hey, the RAM has fulfilled the contract amendment. Then it'll tag the transaction coordinator so that they know what's going on. Sorry that that didn't display here in this example. Need to check one more thing, I guess, on that. But there you have it. That is all put together. Please review. Let me know if there's any questions on this process. And it is ready to be used.